latest updates, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon.
Baggage, post and stores. These are covered under section 77 to section 90 of the Customs Act, and very closely related to this comes the ATA Carnet. Let us first go over the sections. Section 77 talks about declaration by owner of baggage. Section 78, determination of rate of duty and tariff valuation in respect of baggage. Section 79, bona fide baggage exempted from duty. Section 80, temporary detention of baggage. Section 81, regulations in respect of baggage. Sections 82 to 84 are for the post. Section 82, label or declaration accompanying goods to be treated as entry. Section 83, rate of duty and tariff valuation in respect of goods imported or exported by post. Section 84, regulations regarding goods imported or exported by post. Stores. Stores are covered by section 85 to section 90. Section 85, stores may be allowed to be warehoused without assessment of duty. Section 86, transit and transshipment of stores. Section 87, imported stores may be consumed on board foreign going vessels or aircraft. Section 88, application of section 69 and chapter 10 to stores. Section 89, stores to be free of export duty, and section 90, concession in respect of imported stores for the Navy. Let us go over one of them one by one. Baggage. Section 7, what is baggage? Baggage is something which belongs to an individual. Anything that an individual wants to carry with him of his personal use and personal nature would qualify to be baggage. Section 77 says that the owner of the baggage has to make a declaration before the proper officer as to the contents of the baggage with an intention to custom clear it. When we land at the customs, we fill in a form, that is our declaration, which we have to give to the customs. There has been certain recent amendments on the same where this declaration is being dealt with very differently. Section 78, determination of rate of duty and tariff valuation in respect of baggage. What does it say? That the rate of duty and tariff valuation, if any, applicable to the baggage shall be the date on which the declaration is made under section 77. That is the date on which the passenger makes a declaration in front of the proper officer. On that date, whatever was the rate of duty and tariff valuation in respect of the contents of the baggage will apply. Section 79 says bona fide baggage to be exempted from duty. There are different rules made under this, and what the rules specify what is to be considered as bona fide baggage, and whatever is qualifying to be bona fide baggage as declared under the rules shall be exempted from duty. Section 80 talks about temporary detention of baggage. Very often we have cases of foreign nationals landing at Indian airports and they are carrying equipment with them, or they are carrying some items which are leviable to import duty in India, or they are leviable to a lot of regulations and processes on importation in the country. In those cases, he can make a request to the custom officer and deposit the goods at the airport, which would be considered as temporary detention of baggage, and when he is leaving the country he can on identification carry them with him, or he can get it shipped as cargo to be consigned in his name. Section 81 talks about regulations in respect of baggage. Under section 81, the board may make regulations providing for the manner of declaring the contents of any baggage, providing for the custody, examination, assessment of duty and clearance of the baggage, and providing for transit or transshipment of baggage from one custom station to another or to a place outside of India. So the baggage rules are notified regularly, and it is important for us to read up the baggage rules which are current at the time of the passenger coming into the country or leaving the country. Now, what are the provisions for the post under the Customs Act? Section 82 says that the label or the declaration accompanying the goods to be treated as an entry. So it's a very simple thing that the wrapper is your bill of entry and the wrapper is your shipping bill. In case of goods imported or exported by post, any label or declaration accompanying the goods but the label must contain description, quantity and value shall be deemed to be the document of entry or export as the case may be under the Customs Act. So for post parcels you do not have bill of entry or shipping bill, but the label or the accompanying declaration which contains these details is to be taken as a document of entry. Section 83. Rate of duty and tariff valuation in respect of goods imported or exported by post. Here again the postal authorities are expected to submit a list to the proper officer as to what is being offered to them for movement outside India or into India, and the date on which he makes that application will be the date on which the rate of duty and tariff valuation in respect of goods to be imported or exported by post shall apply. Section 84 talks about regulations regarding goods imported or exported by post. Here again the board may make regulations under section 84 in the form or manner in which the entry would be made or the label would be done, the examination and assessment to duty, transit and transshipment of the same. Then comes stores. What is a store? A store is the commodity that is used basically for consumption on the carriage, that is on the vessel or the airline. That is qualified as stores. Section 85 to section 90 deal with stores. Section 85 says that stores may be allowed to be warehoused without assessment to duty. Like a normal bill of entry, you file a bill of entry for warehousing purpose, it is assessed to duty and thereafter it is permitted for depositing in a bonded warehouse. Under section 85 for stores, it says that stores may be deposited in a warehouse without assessment to duty. Section 86 deals with transit and transshipment of stores. Any store imported in a vessel or an aircraft may, without payment of duty, remain on board such vessel or aircraft while it is in India. Technically what happens is any goods which enter the territorial waters of India or the territory of India are liable to custom duty. For stores, as long as they remain on board the carriage, they shall not be liable to any duty. And any store imported in a vessel or an aircraft may be, with the permission of the proper officer, be transferred to another vessel or an aircraft as stores for consumption therein, as provided in section 87 or section 90, which we shall come to. What does section 87 says? Imported stores may be consumed on board a foreign going vessel or aircraft. Under section 86 we talked about transit and transshipment of stores. 87 talks about imported goods to be consumed on board a foreign going vessel. So as long as they are consumed on a foreign going vessel or aircraft, they shall be without payment of import duty. Section 88 says that application of section 69 and chapter 10 will not apply to stores excepting under certain specific conditions. What does it say? The provisions of section 69 and chapter 10 shall apply to stores other than those under section 90 as they apply to other goods, subject to modifications that the words exported to any place out of India, or the word exported shall be taken as taken on board any foreign going vessel or aircraft as stored. Section 69 was talking about removal of goods for export purposes from a warehouse without payment of duty. Similarly, in the case of drawback, on the fuel or the lubricating oil taken on board the vessel, the effect will not be 98% as under section 74, but will be 100% on the whole good. So whatever petrol or whatever fuel or lubricating oil is put into the foreign going vessel, the duty thereon we shall be refunded in full to the vessel owner or to the aircraft owner. Section 89 says stores shall be free of export duty. We have export duty on a lot of consignments which are to be exported, but stores when they are exported shall be free of duty as provided under section 89. And what does section 90 say? Section 90 says concession in respect of imported stores for the Navy. All the other earlier sections on stores were for foreign going vessels or aircrafts. Section 90 is specifically talking about stores for use by the Indian Navy, that is for ships which are going to be of Indian origin and which are going to ply within the Indian waters. Imported stores specified in subsection 3, that is, what is subsection 3? Stores for use of a ship of the Indian Navy or stores supplied free by the government for use of the crew of a ship of the Indian Navy shall be permitted to be put on board without import duty. And the same clauses shall apply that were applicable to the earlier clauses, and that is fuel. For a naval ship, you will get 100% of the refund of the duty to be paid on it. So stores, baggage and post have a very different operation in the Customs Act as compared to normal goods which are offered for import or export. Let us summarize the same again. The baggage will get covered under section 77 to section 81. Baggage is whatever belongs to an individual for his own personal use. 77 says that he will make a declaration. 78 says that the date of determination of rate of duty and tariff valuation would be on the date on which he makes the declaration. 79 says that bona fide baggage would be defined under the rules, baggage rules, which would be current at a particular point in time, and bona fide baggage would be exempted from duty. Section 80 talks about temporary detention of baggage, where you could deposit it at the airport and pick it up on your way out of the country or get it consigned as cargo in the name of the foreign passenger. Section 81 would talk about the regulations that have to be made in respect of baggage. Post is what is happening under the postal department, the general post office. They are section 82 to section 84. The label or the declaration accompanying the post parcel is to be treated as a document of entry. The date, section 83 says that the date on which the postal authorities submit a list to the custom officers would be the relevant date for rate of duty and tariff valuation. And regulation 84 says that regulations would be made for postal cargoes. Stores is what is consumed on the ship, and you have section 85 to section 90 dealing with stores. Section 90 is specific to the Indian Navy and section 85 to 89 is specific to foreign going vessels or aircrafts. Section 85 says that stores may be allowed to be warehoused without assessment to duty, unlike a warehousing bill of entry where we assessed it to duty and then deposited it in the warehouse. Section 86 talks about transit and transshipment of stores. Section 85 to section 90 deals with stores. Section 90 is very specific to the Navy and 85 to 89 is for foreign going vessels or aircraft. What is a store? A store is an item which is meant for consumption on the carriage, that is the foreign going vessel or the aircraft. Section 85 says that stores may be warehoused without assessment to duty. Section 86 talks about transit and transshipment of stores. Section 87 says that imported stores may be consumed on board a foreign going vessel or an aircraft. Section 88 talks about application of Section 69, that is export from a bonded warehouse, and Chapter 10, that is drawback to stores. Section 89 talks about stores to be free of export duty. Section 90 specifically talks in terms of concessions in respect of imported stores for the Navy. For those of you who are working in the port area, or for those of you who have traveled around the port area and seen the name ship chandler, a ship chandler is the agency which works in the stores. So again, to summarize, baggage post and stores have been given a very different treatment within the Customs Act, and one has to understand these provisions separately than cargo which is offered for general export or import. ATA Carnet. What is ATA Carnet? ATA Carnet is the acronym of the French or the English word which talked temporary admission or admission temporaire. ATA Carnet is an international uniform customs document issued in more than 70 countries including India, which are parties to the Customs Convention on ATA Carnet. ATA Carnet permits duty-free temporary imports into member countries without the need to raise a custom bond, without payment of duty, and without fulfillment of other custom formalities in one or a number of foreign countries. It's basically a cooperation between countries and a cooperation between customs and the chambers of commerce. In India, FICCI is the agency who is responsible for the ATA Carnet. What does ATA Carnet say? That whenever there is a passenger who's traveling across a country, or wherever there's an exhibition, or wherever there is a need for a temporary import of some goods, then the temporary import can be done without operation of import duty, without operation of custom formalities, without operation of a number of things on this document, which is known as the ATA Carnet document. What does it do? The ATA Carnet is a document on which all the details are written very explicitly. The person to whom the cargo belongs will make an application to the Chamber of Commerce in his country of origin. It will be the job of the Chamber of Commerce in country of origin to issue the document by taking necessary security bonds to make up for payment of import duties or other custom formalities in a foreign country should the conditions of the ATA Carnet not be completed. Once that document is issued, it is on the basis of that document that the particular country of export will permit export. It is on the basis of the same document that the country of import will permit the import. These imports are going to be time bound and they will necessarily have the form not changing at all. There may be a wear and tear to the items out of usage, but the nature of the commodity will not change. What is it? Basically, it's a simple custom document which is readily made out, handled by the holder and checked by the customs. What is the need? I've already explained you the need. What are the main types of commodities which get covered under ATA Carnet? They may be antiques, they may be machinery, they may be footwear, they may be toys. These are all the different types: paintings, umbrellas, race horses, anything which is going into a country for temporary purposes, audiovisual equipments, photographic equipments, display stands, anything which is going in for a limited period of time into a foreign country would be covered over here. What and who can use these things? They are basically used by film crews, artists, rock stars, engineers, entertainers, photographers, sports items, exhibitions, individual people who need items for their work, for their own use, but are necessarily for temporary use in a foreign countries. What cannot be covered by an ATA carnet? Perishable goods, items such as paint, cleaning material, food, oils, leaflets, anything that can be considered as a consumable item, or anything which can be used as a giveaway, or anything that can be disposed or would be utilized, will have to be excluded from the ATA carnet because those items cannot be re-imported. Additionally, items which are sold or offered for sale cannot be used on an ATA carnet. That means if I have an intention to sell something in a foreign country or I have already sold it to a foreign buyer, I cannot take that material under an ATA carnet for approval and final sale. Unmounted gems and gemstones, makeup, alcohol beverages, goods intended for processing or repair, postal goods, tobacco, fuels, none of these items can get covered under the ATA carnet. To summarize, the ATA carnet offers advantages to the custom authorities, to the trading communities, to the individuals, to the entrepreneurs, and to all trade organizations who require temporary imports. What does it do? It replaces the national custom documentation and does away with all the processing that needs to be done in terms of filing of bonds and sureties at the country of import, and thereafter cancellation of bond and guarantees and refund of securities at the time of exports. This is a policy which has been devised over the years and it is dynamic, but the ATA carnet is a very interesting way in which temporary importation of goods can happen.
For detailed learning on all logistics subjects, visit www.logiveda.com.